Welcome to Veterans Stadium on a hot, steamy night. Tonight it's the Phillies and the Los Angeles Dodgers in the middle game of this three-game series. We're going to turn the tables on Harry a little bit tonight. Stay tuned, because when we come back, Scott Rolen, of all people, is going to sit down and interview the legendary Harry the K. Brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser for the Philadelphia Phillies. And Harry's probably done thousands and thousands of interviews throughout his Hall of Fame career, but we decided to turn the tables on him a little bit. And we've got Phillies third baseman Scott Rolen. He's going to sit down right now and interview Harry.
Thanks, Wheels. Harry, I have the great honor of being the interviewer tonight for your tribute coming up, and with so many Hall of Famers and so many ceremonies and so many great ball clubs, you were the guy on the field every single time doing all these things. How does it feel to be your night?
I'll tell you, it's certainly different. It's like being interviewed by you. I'm supposed to be interviewing you, Ro, and it's a tremendous honor, and I've been around here 30 years. I guess it's a little bit about longevity, and but I am excited and nervous about tonight.
When did you first fall in love with baseball?
From the time that I was 10 years old. The first game my dad took me to was at Comiskey Park in Chicago. The White Sox and the Washington Senators. It was a rainy day, so he was able to obtain tickets behind the Washington Senator dugout. Because of the rain, the field was covered. There was no batting practice. Mickey Vernon, Washington Senator first baseman, poked his head out of the dugout and saw this kid, me, just kind of looking around in awe at my first major league game. Picked me up, took me in the dugout, gave me a ball, introduced me to his teammates. And from that day, I fell in love with baseball and the Washington Senators until they moved to Minneapolis.
How did you come to Philadelphia?
Came to Philadelphia because Bill Giles was the PR guy at Houston when I was doing the Houston Astros games in the late 60s, and Bill liked my work, and when Bill came to Philadelphia, he brought me here a couple of years after he was here in 1971, so that's how I came to Philly, and it's the best move I ever made.
Old Uncle Bill, huh? Old Uncle Bill. How did, what was your most memorable moment as a broadcaster?
Moment would have been Michael Jack's 500th home run, but just for everything, it would have been the 1980 League Championship Series against Houston, when the Phillies had great clubs in the late 70s and couldn't get over the hump of winning a League Championship Series to get into the World Series. And that excruciating 5-game series with Houston, when they seemingly was lost 5-2 against Nolan Ryan in the 8th inning, and they were able to come back and get into the World Series. I think that was my most memorable few days, and to see them, once they got by Houston, won the League Championship Series, there was no doubt in my mind, their mind, or almost anybody's, that they were going to be world champs.
Outside of 1980, did you have any favorite teams that you had on the field, off the field, in the clubhouse? I mean, I'm sure maybe 93 comes to mind, but do you have any other teams that you want to talk about?
Well, the 93 club was the most fun club I've ever been around. They were a cast of characters and a bunch of throwback players that played hard and played hurt. Under the best team leader that I ever saw in baseball, Darren Dahlman was the best guy in the clubhouse as a team leader that I have ever seen. And they had the Crocker and the Dude and Yankee and, of course, L.A. And L.A. was a very big people don't realize the fact that I think L.A. was very much responsible for the kind of years that Tommy Green and David West had. They had great seasons for that 93 club, and he couldn't have been more encouraging in the back of the plane to them and building them up, getting their confidence. And I think he was very, besides his pitching, very much a factor in that 93 club doing what they did.
Well, we've heard this line many, many times from you, but where did out of here? Where did it come from? Where did that originate? When did you start doing that?
Well, that came in the mid-'70s. I was standing around the batting cage watching batting practice, and Greg Luzinski, the Bull, launched one way off into the upper deck, and Larry Bowa was standing around, and Bowa said, "Wow, that baby's way out of here." And I thought, has kind of a nice ring to it, and so that's when I started using it in the mid-'70s. But ironically, I don't always use it. Oddly enough, on Schmidt's 500th home run, I didn't say out of here. I was just kind of spontaneous in what flowed at the moment.
How long do you see yourself sitting up in the booth, Harry, and continuing to be the best in the game?
I don't know about that, Scott, but
I said it, Harry. You didn't.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm still enjoying it, and Scott, I think that I will know before anybody else if I'm slipping, if I'm losing concentration, if I'm making mistakes on the air, if I'm not calling it the way I know it should be called. I think I'll be the first to realize, and I think at that point, then hey, hang 'em up. But right now, I still love it. I still love the game of baseball. I love watching players like you play the game because you play it as good as anybody in today's game. And so I'm hoping to stay around a few years anyhow.
Well, Harry, we hope you stay around for many, many years because we do think you're the best, and we love you. And deservedly, you have one of the greatest nights you can have. Thanks, Harry.
Thank you, Ro. I enjoyed being with you. As I say, I really love to watch you play ball.
Thank you. Wheels, back to you.
Nice job, Scotty. Great job by Scott Rolen with Harry Kalas. Scotty's first interview ever. And you could tell Harry that was a little different for him being on the other end of that thing. He's still taking his victory lap here around Veterans Stadium, as the crowd has been very, very appreciative of this great pregame show here tonight. A lot of it was a "this is your life" type of thing for Harry because he didn't know these people were going to be here tonight. And you could see the look on his face as some guys would pop out of that area behind home plate, and especially when Darren Dalton came out as the MC. I mean, that had to be one of the highlights of the night for him. You see the signs all over the place. That's appropriate with the Republican National Convention in town.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll ask you to please remain standing.
Well, here's what happened here tonight. Did you see some of those signs around Veterans Stadium? It all started about half an hour ago when Harry was out there watching a montage, and the tears started to flow early. And why not? There's the great Vin Scully, Hall of Fame broadcaster of the Los Angeles Dodgers, being introduced. And there's our surprise MC. Dutch Dalton. And Bill Giles, Phillies chairman of the board, who hired Harry. Mickey Vernon, who's very special to Harry for a lot of reasons, as Harry's told over the years. The Secretary of Defense, Gary Lee Maddox. Here comes Andy. Looks good with those roses. Kind of matches his shirt. Harry, a lot of nice things to say about Larry Anderson. There he is, the Crucker, the one and only John Kruk from that great 1993 team. And appropriately enough, it would all end with Harry's unique edition, which I personally have heard maybe 500 or 600 times from coast to coast. Frank Sinatra made it famous, and Harry probably made it infamous. High hopes.
Instead of letting go, just remember that end. Oh, there goes another Robert tree. Up there goes another Robert tree. Whoop, there goes another Robert tree plan. Thank you very much. I love you.
Well, terrific night here at Veterans Stadium for Harry Kalas and for everyone involved in this. I'm sure the fans had a great time. I know it gave us goosebumps watching that. There's a baseball game to be played here tonight. The Phillies and the Los Angeles Dodgers. So stay tuned. Larry Anderson, I'll be back with the starting lineups. That's coming up right after these messages. What has turned out to be a very nice night for baseball. A little hot, a little humid, but no rain thus far, and we certainly hope it keep it that way on Harry Kalas tribute night here at the Vet. The Phillies and the Dodgers in game number 2 of this weekend 3-game series. A lot of fun here before the game, a great pregame ceremony, and we'll show you some snippets of that throughout the ball game this evening. 1 ball and 1 strike to Hollinsworth. A ground ball to second. Mickey Morandini right there on 2 hops, gathers it up over to Rico Brogier. 1 away here in the first.
Good way to start.
Strike call on the outside corner by Scott Packard, and the count 2-2. And the pitch inside, 3-2. Now you really are in a running situation. 3-4. I think he's on his own. I just think he's not comfortable over there. Lined into center, Hollingsworth can't get it. Great base running by Glanville as he makes it all the way to third. He picked that up right off the bat, Andy. First and third, nobody out.
That's excellent base running. He got down there, he took off on the pitch, and once he saw the flight of the ball, he knew that Hollingsworth had no chance for it. Does a great job going first to third. He had a little help by running on the pitch. But watch him now. He sees the flight of it. Now he just kicks it in right there. Easily gets to third base.
Well, this game is starting off just the way you and I were talking about a few hours ago. And he fouls that one off. They're going to get a run out of this. No way on a double play. So Scott Rolen puts the ball in play, and Glanville scores. And the Phillies lead at 1-0 on Scott Rolen's 58th run batted into the year on the fielder's choice.
Polite. In fact, tonight he struck out 6 in 7 innings. Fastball outside corner. He has him. Didn't allow a hit until the 4th inning. Polite. Unlike last night, the offense does kick in. Scott Rolen ground ball. He'll be safe at first, and Doug Glanville will score on the play. 1-0. 5th inning. Polite had doubled. Does it with the bat as well, and here comes Mickey Morandini. Down the line he goes. At least one double right there. Then in relief is Vicente Padilla, pitching a scoreless 8th inning. Watch his fastball. How fast do you think that was?
Struck him out. 1 out here.
Oh, about 96 miles an hour exactly. Jeff Bradley did get the save in the 9th. 3-0 is your final. On the scoreboard was a night to honor Harry Kalas, the voice of the Phillies for the past 30 years. And tonight it is Kalas who gets the curtain call. And then he will use that voice to sing his favorite song, High Hopes. You've got high hopes.
Remember that, Ed. Oh, there goes another robber tree. Up there goes another robber tree. Whoop, there goes another robber tree plan. Thank you very much. I love you.
Thanks for the memories. And as he leaves, tears in his eyes. He said afterwards, it was the greatest night of his life. And how many memories has he given us? Those warm summer nights you're listening on the radio or watching on television here. Long fly pitches.